kommen. Mein Name ist Artur. Ich bin Brasilianer. Ich wohne in Belgien. In dieser Präsentation, geht es um Teufelskreise. Ich liebe Wien, aber ich spreche kein Deutsch. Das ist alles. Okay, so for those who are not fluent in German like me, my name is Artur, I'm from Brazil, I live in Belgium, and this session is about vicious circles. I love Vienna, but I don't speak German. That's all I rehearsal. I don't even know how it's written. I just repeat it and ask for feedback. Is it correct? Is it correct? Das wissen, yeah. Teufelskreise. What? And why do I play ukulele? Because I'm putting 3 of my passions in the same space and time. Music, agility, and sharing back to the community. Why not putting those things together here and there, right? We don't need to separate them. Okay, it's to break the ice. My ice, because I get so nervous, whatever comes next, I'm good, I'm relaxed. All good there? Can you hear it back there? All good? Yeah, the air conditioner is too strong? You good? Don't know if we can open more the door. Vicious circles. In the last 10 years, I feel blessed that I had the opportunity to work in many different industries, different products, different services. Yes, the majority of them, let's say pretty much all of them, I started as a Scrum Master and an agile coach. Where? In IT, for sure. Agile is for IT, right? But in the last 5 years, I feel even more blessed because I worked everywhere else but not IT. Payroll, procurement in the portfolio level, marketing, CRM on the business side. So in the last 10 years, in 5 years outside IT, I managed to see some common things happening here and there. And I decided I think I need to create a talk and share with the world about it. Vicious circles. Let's go for the definition of what is vicious circle. A vicious circle is a sequence of reciprocal cause and effect in which 2 or more elements aggravate each other, leading inexorably to a worsening of the situation. Some people would call it downward spiral, self-reinforcing negative loop, feedback loop from hell. I like vicious circle. Simple enough. Are you good on the same page for the definition? All right. I'm going to give an example just to warm up. What do I mean by that? The first one I see a lot, abbreviations and acronyms. You see an abbreviation and acronym in a meeting, in an email, in a document. You don't want to ask because you don't want to look silly. But more abbreviations and acronyms will keep on appearing. But now, my friend, you are there for 3 years, you are going to look even sillier. And more abbreviations and acronyms will keep on appearing. Have you seen that happening? Yeah? All right. I asked you to raise your hand. I'm just going to do that 9 more times, okay? You can vary your shoulders if you're feeling tired. Every time I work with a team, I ask the meaning of their name. And one team, I'm going to create a fictional name, not to give them away, XPT data. I said, what's the meaning of your name? There, I got 3 different explanations. I have a theory that every single company, a big company, have at least one abbreviation, an acronym that nobody knows what the heck is that. It was created years ago, people already left, and we are just repeating that in a parrot way, like the XPT data team. What do you mean? I don't know. Now, this is abbreviations, acronyms, a vicious circle, but it's kind of cute. Green and blue and white. But this is a vicious circle, and I want you to feel the energy of this, so dark mode. Artur, I was talking to you, I was in the WhatsApp. I'm going to do it again, last time. Oh, it's just a vicious circle, cute. Black and gray and red. But because I'm a good guy, I'm going to clean this bad energy with the next slide. We have a nice landscape giving you tips and practices that you can use to break that vicious circle. For instance, abbreviations and acronyms. The first one, just ask it yourself. What does it mean? Even if you know the meaning of that. Because maybe some people just joined and they don't feel comfortable to ask. So you're helping the others around. If people are not even feeling comfortable to ask what is the meaning of an abbreviation, that's probably psychological safety is not really there. It's just a fluffy expression, but it's for real. If you don't hear questions and statements like, I'm sorry, I messed up, I need help, you are better than me on this, can you teach me? What does it mean? If you don't hear those things very often, most likely you are in a perfect team, or people don't feel comfortable to say those things. So it's nice to bring this awareness about feeling psychologically safe. That means you raise your hand, you are not feeling afraid of being judged by what you're going to say. Another thing, just don't use it yourself. Artur, I'm addicted to acronyms. I cannot, I have to use abbreviations and acronyms. It's okay, I got you. Are you going to use the first time in a meeting, in a document, in an email? Do it and explain with parentheses what that means, and then you can go on your abbreviations and acronyms, okay? Then you can go ahead. Be clear, not clever. And one thing that I do a lot is creating a glossary. I just make sure that every time I hear a different acronym or abbreviation, I write it down, I put in a document, put it on the cloud for everybody to see. 99% of the cases, I have people that are there for years, they're like, oh. So that's what it means. So it's a good practice. You get an idea how this talk is going to go? That's just a warm-up. It's going to be naughtier and naughtier as it goes. But you got an idea? Yay, let's go. I see some person very excited. Thanks for that. Woo-hoo. All right, number 2. The Scrum Master superhero. The Scrum Master superhero solves something by him or herself. But the team is not involved, so the team doesn't learn how to do that thing. Next time the same problem or similar one happens, what they are going to do? Who are they going to look at? Scrum Master superhero. Da, 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 da. QA environment is solved. It's fixed. You can now test. I know it comes from a good place. I've been there myself multiple times. You want people to continue working. You don't want to interrupt them, right? It comes from a good place. So whenever something happens, you want to go there and fix and come back. But there is a bit of ego. There is a little 1% of ego. Because it feels incredibly good when you come back to the room and say, everybody, you can start testing again, environment is on. Everybody's like, yeah, like a rocket launch successfully done. You are just creating bottlenecks. We are supposed to help the team to kill bottlenecks, and we are becoming one ourselves. When you leave the company, when you go on a holiday, they cannot fix that thing by themselves. Here's a variation. That vicious circle is 3 in 1. You got the team member superhero, the guru, the expert. Oh, it's about the finance part of the story? Ah, that's for Jake. Jake is the only one who can do that. Oh, is it about the database? Yeah, that's definitely Jane. Jane is the one for doing that. Have you seen that happen? Yeah? It's like, that's the person. And again, if that's the only person doing that, then it's the only person knowing how to do that, not sharing the knowledge. When the person goes away, quits, run over by a truck, hopefully not, then the whole team has to stop. And you have the variation of the boss as well. The boss just do it, because you know, it's faster, I know how to do that, they don't know how to do it. But if the boss does it, nobody learns how to do it. And they continue on that vicious circle. So raise your hand if you've seen any shape or form or any variation of superhero. Yeah, some people around. Some people are even pointing to the other, like, he's the expert. All right, to clean a little bit with a lake, flowers. First thing you can consider, find the root causes. Why is it even happening? Is it because really the boss just wants to make it faster? Is it because the team believes that that's the fastest and most efficient way? Is it because the Scrum Master doesn't understand that there is a big impact on creating this bottleneck? Why is it happening? Very often we are just putting a band-aid on the wound, because we're trying to tackle the first problem we find, but we are not disinfecting the wound, not understanding even what is causing the wound. And band-aids are just tackling the symptom, not really the cause. So try to understand why this is happening. A few ways to do that. You have the 5 whys. You have the problem statement, why this is happening, because of A. Why A is happening, because of B. Why B is happening, because probably on the 3rd why you're going to find the root cause. And that's where you think about solutions, not on the surface. Another way to think, you can use PDCA, you can think about Ishikawa or Fishbone, or if you want a bazooka, an A3 problem resolution, problem solving, so it's a big one. So some of the techniques that you can find the root cause, but please start from that. Something that you can consider, skills matrix. That is a real one that I've done. So here, I don't know how much you can see there, but here's about expertise, and then you have testing, and you have like deploying, automating, analysis, whatever is there, like database. Then here you have the parts of the product, the features of the product, right? Each column, actually 2 columns, it's one team member. They assess themselves where I am today, self-assessment, from 1 to 5. 1 meaning I have no idea what is that thing, I've never done before. And 5 is like, I can teach others. I'm pretty good at that. So they do the self-assessment where they are today, where they want to go. That's also important, right? So you start having these conversations about career path and how people want to evolve in the team. And you can see here that you have some average. Across all this, you have an average of the today's column. And you see some outliers. The red one, the average is super low. Superhero detected, bottleneck detected. Probably you have just 1 champion to do that thing. So what I've done, I let them do a self-assessment. I let them choose 2 that they would like to improve for the next time, and what are the actions that they want to take. So they are choosing it, they are owning it. They are going to facilitate it. It's not about me doing it by myself. So skills matrix, pretty cool, pretty effective as well. Create a wiki. When the problem happened, you got blocked, what happened? What was the cause of that? Who helped you solve? What was the solution? Please don't do 10 pages document on that, okay? 1 pager, how it happened. Just create a wiki. And try not to be the superhero yourself. That's already a great start. Ready to move to the 3rd one? Woohoo! The 3rd one, task board versus meeting. Yeah, the task board is a mess. Nobody's using it because it's a mess anyway, so just Mark is probably updating it. It's a big mess. But because it's a mess and not outdated, it is outdated and not updated, it's not used in the meetings. But because it's not used in the meetings, it's not being updated with the latest information. And then for sure, it's going to be a mess. It's just a board that is there, it's messy, and probably nobody knows even how to use that. It's not bringing value to the meetings. And when you don't have a visual to talk against, I could give this talk maybe without slides. You could get it. But isn't it better when you're seeing this? Isn't it easier to understand and remember when you have a visual? It's the same for any other meeting you're going to have. It's nice to have a visual to talk against. Have you seen the task board versus meeting not being used? Raise your hand if that is a vicious circle for you. One of the little one. I heard a sentence that is, you cannot have clean water out of a dirty pipe. So if your board is a mess, unless you are a great team that really communicates to each other and you really learn how to communicate with each other without any visual, if that's not the case, most likely you're getting a messy delivery with a messy board. All right, things to consider. One of the first things that you can consider for the task board, something I mentioned already in the last one. Root causes. Using in the meetings at some point, but try to understand why it's not being used. It's too complex, too complicated, people don't have access, it's annoying, it's outdated. Why they're not using? Keep it simple to use. That's a big deal. Many times we have super fancy flows that to create, come on, takes me longer to move that freaking sticky throughout all those things than getting the work done. I have to add so many people to the ticket that I just don't. Make it easy and simple to use. Agree on the constraints. So you see with your team when it's going to be updated, how are you going to use color coding, how is the flow, but have these agreements with the team. Experiment. Don't try a board that is like, that's our board and see you in 3 years. Maybe you need to switch, maybe you need to remove one column, maybe you need to simplify the color coding, how are you going to use when you're going to update. It's their board, not yours. I learned visual management and I learned beautiful ways to do a nice board. So I stayed until 10 in the night one day to make a surprise, right? Before pandemic. So I created a beautiful board for the team. And tomorrow they're going to be proud. They're going to love the new board. And then the next morning they started joining. I'm like, hey, dang, look at that. People are like, okay. So, I was just melting on the floor. Somebody said, like, that column is useless. That color doesn't make sense. The way you put that, we prefer that bigger post-it. I'm like, turn around, every now and then I feel it. Lessons learned. So it's their board. Invite someone to co-create, ask their opinion. Don't create it by yourself. All right, moving forward. High team turnover. Let's hire 2 more analysts, because we need to analyze faster. But then you need onboarding. And because you have onboarding, people are investing their time to teach, to welcome those people. And because of that, productivity is going to go down. That's normal. That's expected. But somebody above is going to say they're not going fast enough. Let's hire one more tester. I've been to a team that had more than 20 people. Every week, I would say hi or bye to someone different. They had 3 different bosses. And each of the bosses was doing the hiring and firing themselves. Have you seen anything close to this, like always hiring, turnover, high turnover? You don't need to go to the extreme of 3 bosses, but have you seen? Yeah. All right, things that you can consider. One of the first things to consider to break this vicious circle.
Find the root cause.
Ding, 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 beer. Find the root cause, try to understand. Is it really because you had 3 different bosses? Is it because just they believe that's more efficient? They don't understand how many channels they are opening every time you add one person to the team? One thing I like to do is really creating these working agreements and team engagement. We do NPS for the product. Why not doing NPS for the team? From 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend to a colleague or a friend to work in this team? From that, you can generate plenty of insights. Visualize the impact. Some people you only get when they see things, and I like to visualize a lot. You can use, for instance, the Tuckman. It's normally Tuckman cycle, but it's not really a cycle. But yeah, you are forming. People are being hired, right? Okay, we're there together. But then you start storming, because we don't really follow the meetings the same way. We don't commit the code the same way, the communication, the timing. So you start creating norms. As from that day, we're going to start this. Let's make sure that we do that. Right? And then soon enough, you start performing. One thing is important to know. If you hire or fire one person, if they were here, they come back automatically to somewhere down there. Because it's again another person in the system to be onboarded, to be trained. And somebody with other behaviors, somebody with other ways of working. Creating the skill matrix, that is something that you can visualize. So it's not about hiring or firing local optimizations. Just see what is the expertise of the team, right? And then you have that matrix and you take the decision from that. Forget about the 1 month handover. My goodness. Jessica works there for 3 years. Now she got promoted. She won the lottery. I don't know. Jessica, can you do a handover of 3 years in 1 month? Yeah, of course. It's not going to happen. And it's not 1 month handover, full month. It's half an hour here. 1 hour there, 2 hours here. There are some studies saying that every time somebody leaves the company, after 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you have 50% of the knowledge gone, that people have to catch up again and try to understand documents and things like this. Forget about the 1 month handover. Moving forward, before we all melt down here. Technical debt. Woo! I see some people already, don't talk about it. Technical debt is created because I was a developer, and I know that it's pretty much impossible to develop the first part of the whatever application that is already perfect off the bat. You're going to learn how to make it leaner, cleaner, more efficient, different pattern, with a better structure, with a better architecture. So it's normal. It's part of the development. Technical debt is created. But if you don't tackle that, here comes the spaghetti code. It's becoming messier, complex. It's like, what is that thing? It's like a Jenga. You remove one thing, everything breaks, or like a house of cards. Because of that, it becomes harder to refactor or to forecast. And guess what? We got a forecast. Artur, I don't like estimations of forecast, but you got it. You got it. It's that simple. People are paying for your team to be there. Users are feeling pain, and they need to know when that pain is going to be solved or when there is any feature. But because it's so messy, you can't really refactor. Sander, I promise you, man, it's going to take 1 week for me to fix that thing, okay? 3 months later, but somebody's going to say, let's move faster. Let's move faster. And then you are choosing speed over quality. And the more you're choosing speed over quality, the slower you go. Funny, no? Counterintuitive, but just a fact. And then more technical debt is generated, you don't tackle it, it just keeps on increasing. Have you seen this somewhere? Have you experienced? Woo! 80% of the room. Some people are like, I need a break, Artur. Things you can consider. One of the first things that you can consider to break the cycle. Root causes. Yeah, you see where it's going, no? Try to understand. Sometimes it's really the leader saying, let's go faster. We gotta deliver faster. Yeah, we do quick and dirty and left afterwards, we see. Or we gotta deliver, otherwise the budget is gone. Or sometimes the team members themselves thinking that's the most efficient way. So try to understand why this is happening. Then you can really see what is the impact on that. Once again, visualize it. Just Google technical debt. Go to Google Images. You're going to find plenty of ways to visualize how much this is impacting and how much slower you are going to go if you're not tackling the technical debt. After having this visualization, have an agreement with leadership that X% of your sprint, or whatever is your time frame, you're going to invest in refactoring. Is it 2 hours a sprint? Some teams might need the whole day for that. Is it half an hour per day? What is that? But have this agreement that you need to refactor. Automate the tests. Please, stop doing they call it monkey test, or like manual test. This is crazy. Imagine we just built a feature A. We good with feature A, everybody? Yeah, high five. You tested, we good, let's go to feature B. Yes, feature B, good, test, high five, let's go to, oh, what about the feature A? Let's test now, just to make sure that it doesn't break. So you come back, and then you test again. Test again, high five, let's go. But maybe we broke feature B as well. No, feature B is good. Yeah, we test. Let's go to feature C. John, please, keep testing there, man. Feature C. Have you seen that happen? And then you have to keep coming back every time, because it's not automated. You don't have really the credibility or the trust that nothing's going to break. So just test it. Make the test automated. My first mentor said, if you're doing the job of a machine in the night, when the machine is drinking oil and having fun with the other machines, the machine is going to be laughing at you. You know, Artur, he's doing my job. Manual tests, high five. Tequila. Scout room, who knows scout room? Yeah, go ahead, just shout. Leave the place better than how you found it. And that can also be applied to code. Every time you're going to do something, you need to go and touch some part, leave it better than how you found it. But for that, you need to automate the tests. We keep moving forward because we still have 5 more to see. Conflict resolution. I'm still going to make this a famous expression. Conflict resolution debt. You have the technical debt. What about humans? A conflict happens in the team, right? Let's say that Tom was speaking very loud on the mobile, talking about football next to me while I was working. But I'm a bit tired. I don't know how to give the feedback. I don't know if it makes sense or not, you know. But then Tom is going to ask for my help. But I don't like Tom that much. So I'm not going to really help Tom. Now Tom doesn't help me back. But then more conflicts are going to be happening. Because now you're so, like, there are so many things being put under the carpet that you just don't solve it, and so much, I really don't like Tom. Don't talk about Tom. And then it's more conflicts happening, because we're just having this depth of solving the conflicts. And then this bump under the rug, it's so big that somebody's going to step on it, there's going to be dust everywhere, and that's where people shout at each other, say things that they shouldn't, or get fired, or fire somebody else. Have you seen this happening somewhere? I'm going to say somewhere because, you know, at some point in your career. All right, things that you can consider to break that cycle. Root cause, at the end of this session, you're going to be in one sound, like root cause, aroo, aroo. No, too much. You're going to wake up in the night like, root cause, whoosh, what? Sorry, honey, I don't know. Try to understand, right? Why the heck this is happening? Sometimes it's because you're tired, sometimes you don't know how to give the feedback, sometimes just pressure to deliver, put that fluffy thing aside about feedback. Now, try to introduce slowly a few things, like radical candor, responsibility process, nonviolent communication. One of my favorite, impact feedback. Because very often we do feedback like, hey Tom, you know that day that you were speaking on the mobile? You don't care about us, and you're doing that just because you're disengaged. And for me, the solution is that you speak next time on the room A. Sorry, Tom, still like you, man. You are having an assumption why he was speaking, because you don't like us, because you disrespect us, because these assumptions are always wrong. So it's starting wrongly. Then I'm giving the solution on how he should go on that, but maybe that room is not the best for that. So the feedback impact is like, Tom, At 10:30, man, this morning, you were speaking on your mobile next to me. You're talking about things that were not from work, and I really felt distracted. And then you dodged the chair. No, just kidding. That's a way to start a conversation. Normally, most of the times, that's going to come back like, oh, I'm sorry, man. So next time I'm going to speak somewhere else. But you're just not having assumptions. You said what happened and how it impacted you. And then you can start the conversation on that way. But please start small. Start small. I joined the team. They were having a retrospective. First day, and I see a circle of chairs. And I'm like, all right, my job today is just to observe and learn. And then everybody enters a room. The Scrum Master closes the door. Hey, Jen, and he drags a chair to the center. Jen is going to now sit in the center, and you're going to tell her what you liked about her and what she can do better. Hey, time out. Stop, 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 stop. I use my card of stop, stop. That is not a feedback session. That's an execution session. Don't do that. It's the first time you're talking about. So start small. Start introducing these things one at a time. Start practicing it. And by the way, start by yourself. Just ask feedback yourself, regardless of your role. And maybe you got to update the team agreements based on that, right? You got to feedback, you learn some things, and you got to update that. All right, moving forward. No whip limit.
Excuse me, what is whip?
What did he say?
Excuse me, what does whip mean?
Round of applause to him. Okay. We just agreed on the first vicious circle that even if you know the meaning, we're going to ask. So whip is work in progress. All right? Yeah, sometimes you even don't have the same one. Sometimes it's different, right? But I'm talking about work in progress. Thanks for that, man. I'm going to say I'm going to pay your beer, but I know that you're going to have a beer anyway. Too much work, top down, because everything is priority. But now the team is juggling with 50 different things at the same time. But because there is context switch, there is lack of focus, and there is waste. Because they are jumping from one thing to the other. I'm fixing a bug with you, and then I'm now producing the feature with you, and now I'm trying to remember the document we created. It's lost of time. Somebody's going to say they're not going fast enough, because now I need my feature in the next release. And then more work's pushed down because it's high priority. Have you seen that happening? Somewhere, too many things in progress. I had one team once that they had 193 items in progress at the same time. And the team was not as big as this room here, okay? There were 10 people. Things that you can consider to break that with a beautiful picture, probably somewhere in Portugal. One of the first things to consider.
Root cause.
Ding, 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 root cause. Why this is happening? Is really the leadership, like I said, pushing down? Or because the team believed that it's more efficient? Many people believe like, yeah, if we start many things at the same time, we go faster, right? Try to visualize how much this is not true. So this is one way to see. You have task A, task B, task C. You can call it user stories, features, epics, whatever. In an ideal way, you finish one, you get a feedback, maybe you get even money, you know it working, and then you can adjust the backlog, and then have another one, and then have another. Well, what happens normally is you do a bit of A, a bit of B, a bit of C, a bit of A, a bit of B, a bit of C, a bit of A, a bit of B. And then you see that A is only ending here. It's more than double of the time to finish that. And the second one is a good scenario. It's just 3 things at the same time. Imagine 193. And all of that in between is context switching, which is waste. Very beautiful bullet point on a slide. But once you have these conversations, you've got to talk to the product owner, to the stakeholders, to the sponsors, to show the impact of that. The more things you have in progress at the same time, the longer you're going to wait. Not mentioning the quality, because we got to deliver all those things at the same time, and then quick and dirty, and then technical that. You got to have this conversation of like, we have an ideal number. Who knows how many balls a human can juggle at the same time, the maximum?
193.
193? Wrong. For real. 7? More.
I think I've seen 9 or
9?
12.
More than 12? 20? Okay, it's 14. 14. 1, 4. Okay. Because at some point there's not even enough energy to throw the ball so high because you're... So let's say one human, 14 things. how much a team, what is the average, but that's the maximum. 14 is like, oh, it's the best guy in the world can do 14. So find what is the sweet spot for your team. Maybe not 1, but maybe not 193. New motto for you to print and put big on the wall, in Miro or in person. Finish more, start less. A variation of that. Stop starting, start finishing. No time for improvement. I know that you want to introduce that training. Yes, please. You can open all. If you can open the ceiling. The more you open, the more error we might have. So we got to introduce this new thing, lean startup, or continuous integration, continuous delivery, or about agile, about Scrum. What is that thing that you need to introduce? Let's say that takes 1 day or 2. Somebody's going to say, yeah, can we do it 1 hour? And then you're like, yeah, I'm going to lose my job, so yeah, of course I can. But then people are going to have frictions because there is a lot of misalignment on the roles and the responsibilities or how to do that thing. And what they're going to start doing? Creating meetings to solve that thing. And then it's 2 of you creating a meeting to understand, and then the 2 of you, but now we need to involve John as well, and then you involve John, and you have way more meetings than you do. And all of the time you're like, yeah, I don't have time. We have too many meetings. And now you really don't have time for improvement. Have you seen this happening somewhere? Yeah? Like the meetings, like a pandemic itself. It's like gremlin, throwing a gremlin in the water and they replicate overnight. You go to sleep, you have 3 meetings tomorrow. You wake up, you have 15 overlap. Find the root cause. What we're going to do, the first thing? Try to understand, really, what is causing that thing, right? Is it really, yeah, because we don't have time for that, we have too many meetings, we gotta go faster, or maybe the why of that new improvement is not clear, what problem are we trying to solve with this improvement? Try to understand why. Visualize, I like visualization, so you can visualize. I did a drawing, a classical drawing, I just did my own version. Sometimes it's taking a little bit of time to improve, and then you can go faster for much longer. You have other ways to visualize as well. Doing the same thing, or occasionally improving, or continuous improvement, or really improving and innovating. So how much you can improve productivity and quality and things like that. So visualize the impact of not having it. Create the support from leadership, have their buy-in. One of the best experiences I had was that leadership was kind of forcing the team to invest 10% of their sprint into concrete actions to improve. And they got to prove it, to say like, that's why we are doing that. And it's just not fluffy things like improved communication. It's like, we're now going to test unit, unit automation, JUnit, whatever, in this one, and we're going to see how it's going to go, and you got to inspect and adapt to see if it makes sense or not. Try small. Sometimes they don't want this big thing for everybody, so you create one improvement here, you prove the case, how much it's worth it, and then you can go ahead and have more buy-in from the leadership. But just don't let the risk of bankruptcy be the reason why you innovate or improve. Big banks swimming in the money for years. It's okay, Artur, this agile stuff we don't need right now. And then all of a sudden, fintech, startups, and taking pieces of the slices of the cake, and then the pool starts reducing. The money is not flowing that much. And then some leader is going to come back to you and say, Artur, what is that agile thing that you mentioned 5 years ago? That might be too late. So don't let the risk of bankruptcy be the only reason why not going to agile, but improve and do whatever is needed. All right, number 9. Ooh, toxic behaviors. Company doesn't deal with toxic behaviors because, he got the number. Yeah, because, she gets it. Because, she delivers it. But now the good people that are also delivering, but are pleasant to work with, they start leaving. And whoever is left with toxic behaviors, they get leadership roles. What they're going to do? Hire people that think alike. And now really the company won't deal with the toxic behaviors. Have you seen that? And if your boss is next to you, you can say it was a previous experience. The boss is like, are you going to raise your hand? Are you going to raise your hand? I mean, it happens in parallels universes. Things that you can consider. One of the first things to consider is wrong. Separate the behavior from the person. Gotcha. I really genuinely believe that people don't wake up in the morning, I'm going to be a pain in the neck today. I really think things are triggering that behavior. So separate it. It's not about fixing the person, but it's about fixing those behaviors. We don't want those behaviors here. And then you have the root causes. Then you first this mindset, separate the behavior from the person. We are going to focus on the behaviors. And then you listen to the person to understand. Instead of like, tell me why you're a jackass. No, just tell me why I shouldn't fire you. I mean, that might not be the best beginning of a conversation. Really listen to understand. There are things that might be triggering those behaviors. Some of them, here I have some reasons for you that I saw throughout these 10 years. Personal issues. Whatever you know from your best colleague is just the surface. Many things can be happening in the personal life that are triggering these behaviors in the company because we can't hang our personal lives just like a jacket and go to work. The other thing, why is not clear. Of agile, of lean, of whatever you're doing, it's not clear. So people are like, yeah, just being pushed to do that thing, but I don't know why. This agile, fluffy thing. Some people are even allergic to the word, like a cat being thrown in the water. So, agile. So make it really clear, why the heck are we going on that direction? What problems are being solved by this new way of working or whatever you're trying to implement there? What is in it for you? HR not involved. So you're asking me to change my behaviors with these fluffy all expressions you're talking about, to collaborate more, to share more knowledge. But the way I get my bonus, my promotion, and my career path is still the old ways and individual KPIs? I'm sorry, I might stick to this one. Because this one is paying the bill, let's be clear. Artur, money is not the only thing, I want happiness. Talk that to a father of 3 kids. You gotta still keep the money in one way or the other. But then you have people asking you to do this thing that is about collaborating, that's against your KPIs individual. HR should be involved from the beginning in this transformation. Adjust the team agreements, add a big no-go. What are the big no-goes that we don't want here? And have hard conversations. Sometimes you try all the things above. But at some point, you gotta be like, look, you got the yellow card, football. You got a yellow card. Next time is another yellow card and you're out. I'm putting it in a blunt way here, but having hard conversations to say, this behavior we don't want anymore. And if you move or fire somebody, be honest with the reason why. There was a person in the team that had many toxic behaviors. Putting the head in front of the other people's faces, interrupting all the time, talking for too long, not let people talk. It's my way or highway, because I understand this agile thing. We tried everything above. It didn't change. So the team went to the leadership and said, it's us or that person. And people were like, yeah, okay, maybe we gotta move him. So I met this person in another team months later, and I just, how is it going? It's like, man, it's the same as the other team. They don't get me. It's my agile way that they don't understand and they don't let me talk. I'm like, why did they say you were moved to the other team? Because my skills would be better utilized on the second team. Don't do that. First, just for being transparent, for the sake of being transparent. Secondly, just because you are giving the person a choice to improve. If you don't tell the reason why, the person is still not going to be aware. So give the person the choice of improving. And if the person doesn't want, okay. And the third one, you are destroying a second team because of that. So it's good to be honest. Last vicious circle, fake agile. I told you it would be naughtier as we go. Fake agile. There is a new idea, request, need. Now, the team goes directly to the source, to the clients, to the consumers, to ask about their opinion, to understand what are their needs. Now, they have a prioritized backlog that they really start working from the top with a good WIP, good work in progress, and they start delivering really incrementally, getting feedback and understanding how this is solving or not, and adjusting their backlog as they go. Artur, if that is fake agile, I don't know what we're doing at my company. This is a kind of okay agile, right? No man in the middle, straight to the source, trying to understand, adapt. So let's rewind a little bit. Rep is red, is red, zip is red, is red, never is red. Now, are you ready for the fake agile? Do a stretch if you need. Do your favorite stretch, one side to the other, because for real, it's an invitation. It's pretty hot in the room. If you want a little bit, I even lost my phone, my microphone. Buckle up, because it's going to go wild. You ready? There is a need, an idea, and request. But now there are many sign-offs and gates and walls and handovers because there is one small group of people working in a corner because, you know, developers must be developing, testers must be developing, so it's more efficient if we do the refinement ourselves. Now, there is a demand that's called business. Business demand, yeah, there is an invisible wall inside the same company, and then they throw over the wall that is called supply, IT, supply, the same pocket, the same customer, but we are supplying new demand, okay, no problem. And then they go like, hey, IT, can you be agile now and deliver quickly? Yes. And then the product owner is like, okay, let me try to understand all these requirements and go to the team and try to understand, try to explain to the team. The team goes and says, now I'm going to let's try to get it done. And then they try to get it done, but it was not clear because it was refined by many people, wireless, telephone game, and they come back to the PO 57 times. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? At some point, they deliver something, and then it's not really what the customer needed. Now comes the finger-pointing, blame game rollback. Us? Are we going to lose our job? No, no, no. It happened because of the product owner. The product owner is like, wait, what? But I got this from the people that were working in a corner of the room, separated, and give it to me. And then the people is like, wait, what? Us? That's because the customer changed his or her mind and didn't want this or that. And now you're pointing to the customer, saying that the blame is from the customer. And what do you have to do? Create another ticket to fix all that. Have you seen this happening somehow in any shape or form? That's a big one. Some people are like, feet, can I put my feet up? Now, things to consider so we can close the session. One of the first things that you can consider. Now you are in doubt, no? Yeah. Find the root causes. You can find it. Try to understand. Is it because they are not involved? Agile is only for IT. HR, once again, not involved. Leadership is not involved. Maybe it's the way that the team thinks it's faster. Why is causing this systemic issue? Instead of trying to fix it locally, try to understand what is causing the system to behave that way. Involve business. Because they are doing a big part of the job, refining features, refining epics, whatever you want to call, and then throwing over the wall, and then IT, now let's try to be agile. But it's the same end-to-end flow. There is a request, there is a delivery. Make sure that in this accordion, you understand how the song is playing, and you remove the ways, you improve the system. It's not one team or one department issues. Many departments are involved, so involve business, HR, and leadership. Another expression I'm going to make famous, pocket pain. Some people will only change or act if it's hurting in their pocket. You know, people are not collaborating much. People are disengaged. The lead time is too long. The quality is a bit messy. Okay, cool, nice. Okay, that's a pain, but okay, let's see later. Now, if you come and say, per feature, we are investing 500K, and it's taking us 9 months to deliver. And at the end, we need to still change because it's not really what the customer wants. Now, what we can do is invest 200K to make this in 2 months and actually be something valuable. And Sander and Tom, they did a very nice talk about that as well, about the metrics you can use to see, like, when is the last time that feature was used? So you put that on the table, and then some people are going to be like, can you cancel my meeting with Barack Obama? Just tell me more about that, 500K? Some people will only move if it's hurting in the pocket. But please come with real numbers. I just come up with some random example here, okay? But you can do simulations to make sure that it's understanding how much waste we have. Value stream mapping, that's a real picture. All the steps from the need, from the beginning, and then you say to the moment is delivered, that was, yeah, probably you have to stand up or look at the screen there. Here was when IT would pick it up. That's when I was started coaching business. So all these steps, just refinement on the business side. Value stream mapping, just visualize the flow, how long it's taking on each of the steps, where can we start tackling first with all the waste. User story mapping, game changer workshop. Put people in the room, testers, developers, users, product owners, stakeholders. Artur is going to be very expensive meeting. I got that very much. Very often I said, that's very much, but the testers, they don't need to be here. I'm like, we good. We delivered great product. We can try this. It's on me. I will be fired if that doesn't work. Yes, I actually said that. Okay, Artur, So 50 minutes into the session, a tester that was shut up all the time in the back said, excuse me, if you do that before this, you're going to break the performance of the application. It's going to take 15 seconds instead of milliseconds. And everybody's like, what? Because you are aligning people before any line of code is developed. People are starting with the noses pointing towards the same direction. People are bringing pieces of the puzzle at the same time instead of afterwards. So what we're doing is shift left. We are starting, aligned, and we keep on aligning as we go. Creative success cases, I think that's how I saw transformations working very well. You start with some things, create some noise, good results, obviously, and other people are going to be like, can you do that thing here as well? All right, let's understand what is your context and challenges and goals. And of course, at some point, we're going to need HR and leadership to be involved. 10 vicious circles. For you, probably take a picture and feel the pain again. I'm closing. Why did I even create this session? Once again, these vicious circles are happening everywhere, regardless of the industry, regardless of the department and the hierarchy. And you might be involved in some of them. So my first point here is to create awareness. They are out there. So what I propose to you, if there is one thing that you can pick up from this session, other than all the proposals and practice, take those images, come back to your company, and have these conversations with them. Start detecting what are the ones that are happening there. And you start breaking them one at a time. But as I said, I'm a nice guy, so I'm going to clean this energy. Enjoy a positive self-reinforcing loop. In this conference, you met great new people and hopefully learned new things, right? Yeah, now you met great new people, so you learn new things, had a good time. You met people, these people are going to recommend you to new endeavors or conferences where you are going to meet other great new people, and they are going to recommend you to other conferences and endeavors, and you're going to keep on learning, keep on having fun. So that is the one that I want you to continue. Don't break this cycle. This is a good one. And thanks, ATVIE23 for having us. Now, I really appreciate your time here. Danke, and see you.